Wife goes MIA while I'm fighting for my life due to an illness and leaves nothing but a note back saying asking me to not try and find her. But 4 years of struggling later I've recovered fully and she's now back and wants to turn things back to how they were before, and I invite her home just so I can show her this new change. She loses it when she finds out who I'm staying with now. 5 years ago, I got married to my ex-wife, Jenny. And about a year later, she left me during one of the worst phases of my life. Back then, both of us were 25. We had been dating for about 3 years after college, and then we got married because it seemed like the most obvious next step since we were both happy with each other. We had been married for about 4 months when all of a sudden, I was diagnosed with stage 2 cervical cancer. There had been signs for a couple of months, but we just chalked it up to general exhaustion and minor illnesses. When things started getting worse, we had to take my condition seriously, and that's when I was diagnosed. After that, I was in and out of the hospital on a regular basis. And for the first couple of months, Jenny was extremely helpful. She would take great care of me. She would handle all the medical reports and keep in touch with the doctors. I felt like I didn't have to worry about anything at all. And even when I started chemotherapy and I started losing my hair, she shaved her head in solidarity with me. In short, she was literally perfect. But then she started losing faith when I didn't get better after almost 6 months had passed and I had undergone several rounds of treatment. I was not showing any signs of progress, and slowly but steadily, I was getting worse. She started distancing herself from me, and even when I would try to get her to talk to me, she would just shut me out. I was already going through a lot. And her behaving like that with me, I felt like I was being rejected by her, and I couldn't take that. So I started picking fights with her just to get her attention, and it seemed to work for a while. But then she moved even further away from me emotionally. Finally, about 2 weeks before our 1-year wedding anniversary, I woke up one day to find her gone. And all she had left for me was a note on our bedside table telling me not to go looking for her because she did not want to be found. I thought she was playing a prank on me or something. So I tried to call her and I sent her several messages but none of them went through. After a couple of minutes I realized that she had blocked me, not just my phone number, but she had also blocked me on social media, so I started panicking. And I called my in-laws, and they told me that they knew nothing of this and said that they would get back to me as soon as possible. But they never did. I told my parents about it, and they moved in with me so that they could take care of me in her absence, which we assumed would be just a couple of days. Unfortunately, she just never came back. And after she disappeared, I tried my best to look for her, but I was never able to find her again. She was just gone for good, and it took me a really long time to recover from that emotionally. And I was incredibly depressed for a long time afterwards. I tried getting in touch with my in-laws several times after her disappearance from my life, but after that first phone call, they never responded to me until a month later. They visited me, but they were acting very cold and weird. And later on, they disclosed that they were only here because they needed to serve me with divorce papers. I was devastated and I realized that they had been in touch with Jenny, but they refused to let on anything else. I was told that she wanted nothing to do with me anymore and that she was really sorry about this, but it had to end this way because she couldn't just waste her life with me anymore. I was really hurt because I could tell that the only reason she left was because I had cancer and she didn't want to take care of me anymore. It's not like I didn't understand what she was going through. It must have been tough on her, but the least she could have done was have a conversation with me. I think after 3 years of being together and 1 year of marriage, that's the least that we owe each other. One honest and transparent conversation about our feelings, but she didn't think that she owed me even that. And that's why she left without a word. It took me a while to come to terms with it emotionally, but after her parents served me with the divorce papers, I signed off on it without any drama. It was already pretty obvious to me that there was nothing left to fight for in this relationship anymore. So it was better to just let it go in a dignified way. I obviously did have a lawyer go over everything with a fine-tooth comb, but in all honesty, her terms were pretty fair. Besides, in 1 year of marriage, we didn't really have any joint assets and neither of us wanted to drag this thing out. So after getting done with the waiting period, we finalized our divorce without even coming face to face with each other. Everything that I had to communicate with him, my lawyer spoke to her parents and the lawyer about it and that was it. And especially since this was an uncontested divorce, there was no need for us to meet each other earlier. That was it. After that, I did not hear from my in-laws either. And even though I was completely shattered, I knew that I had to keep going somehow. My condition had started worsening because of the heartbreak that I had gone through. And even though my parents were trying to be strong for me, I could tell that it was hard for them to see me like this. For their sake, I knew that I couldn't just give up on my life and go, even though it probably would have been easy for me back then. Anyway, I decided that I was going to fight for my life, and I don't know if it was a mental thing or if the treatment started working, but somehow I managed to make it through. I'm doing fine right now. And for the past 3 months, I've been cancer-free. It wasn't easy for me at all. And for the past 4 years, all I've done is try to be thankful for my life. Part of that gratitude meant that I was ready to give myself a second chance at love. And that's why I agreed to let my ex-wife move in with me 6 months ago. Some background information about me and my ex. Her and I met in college and dated for 2 years, but parted ways shortly after graduation because we wanted different things from life. My ex, let's call her Anna, and I were part of a larger circle, and that's actually also how I knew Jenny since she was part of the same circle. After we graduated from college, we didn't exactly keep in touch. But a couple of months after Anna and I broke up, Jenny reached out to me and we started talking. We became friends, and within a few months, she confessed to me and told me that even when we were in college, she had always had feelings for me but never acted upon it because I was with Anna. Now that we had broken up though, she wanted to ask me out. And after a couple of months, I finally said yes. So that's how we ended up together. But even after we got serious about our relationship, Jenny always seemed to be a bit insecure about Anna. And so even though I had been friends with Anna after our breakup, I ended up slowly phasing her out of my life and eventually blocking her altogether because I knew that Jenny didn't feel comfortable with Anna. Our common friends told me that Anna had been very disappointed that I had ghosted her and blocked her after I got with Jenny. But, honestly, there was nothing else that I could do. And at the time, Jenny was more important to me than anyone else because I was very serious about her. Eventually, I obviously ended up marrying Jenny and forgot about Anna altogether. But then we ended up getting divorced. And even though I never posted about it on social media or went public with it, I did tell a few friends of mine, and I'm guessing that's how Anna found out about our divorce and my diagnosis. So 5 months after my divorce was finalized, Anna reached out to me via email. She told me that she was really sorry about whatever I was going through, both the divorce and the cancer. She also said that she would really like to be friends again, but she would understand if I didn't feel comfortable with it. She was just very sweet in that email, and she ended by saying that she wanted me to know that she would always be here for me if I ever wanted somebody to talk to. However, back then, I was still reeling from the shock of Jenny leaving me, so I didn't respond to it for 10 months. I did think about that email from time to time, and I even thought about responding, but I couldn't bring myself to actually do it until 10 months later when I had finally made my peace with the fact that Jenny had left and she was not coming back. And I had told a few of my friends about it, and they had insisted that I at least talk to her in a friendly capacity. So that's exactly what I did, and I really didn't have any intention of getting back together with her or whatever. I just wanted to clear the air between the two of us because she was obviously making an effort to do the same. I responded to her in a completely platonic capacity, and that's how we got to talking eventually. We went back to being really good friends, and it was nice to have somebody to talk to on a regular basis, especially since Anna really understands me more than anybody else, to be honest. And I did have my other friends, but with her, I'd always had something special, and talking to her made me happy. My parents also noticed that and encouraged me to keep talking to her even if we were just friends. For a few months, we would only speak online, and then she started visiting me at home. Slowly but surely, we started getting closer again. And even though I was not ready to get back with her or anything of the sort, she did not give up on me. Last year, she finally told me that she had never really fallen out of love with me, and getting to know that I had started dating Jenny had been a huge heartbreak for her. But knowing that I was happy was enough for her to stay away from both of us. But now that Jenny was gone and we had become friends again, she felt like she had to tell me the truth that she loved me, and she didn't expect me to get back with her, but she just needed to get it off her chest. I appreciated her honesty, but I was very confused because it had been 3 years since my divorce, so I always felt uneasy thinking about Jenny and our past together because we never really got any closure. So I was very conflicted about whether I should try to move on or not, even though I really liked Anna. And, honestly, I was pretty sure that I loved her now even more than I had before. My parents and friends talked to me and reminded me that it had been 3 whole years since my divorce. And if Jenny hadn't come back by now, it meant that she never cared about me and never would. So I decided to give myself a second chance, especially since I was getting better health-wise. Having fought for my life once, I knew that I needed to value whatever I have at the moment because there's no telling what might happen in the future. They convinced me to stop living in the past and give Anna a chance. So a couple of weeks after her confession, I decided to get back with her. And then after a few months of being back together, she told me that she wanted to be the one to take care of me. She said she wanted to move in with me, and after giving it some thought, my parents and I decided that since she already spent most of her time with me at my house, it would be better for her to just move in here. So I agreed to let her move in. Since then, we have been staying together. It's been great. I love having her around. And a couple of weeks after she moved in, once she was familiar with my routine, my parents moved out. They still visit me on a regular basis, obviously, but they finally have some time for themselves as well. And I guess they really appreciate it. I'm not ready for a second marriage as of now, but Anna and I have discussed the idea. And maybe in some time, we will think about getting married. However, for the past couple of months, I've just really been happy that I'm cancer-free and living with Anna, who really loves me, and I really love her too. Everything was just perfect until earlier this week when Jenny reached out to me. She had finally unblocked me everywhere and had sent me a message on Facebook telling me that she had realized that she had treated me really badly and I didn't deserve that. Of course, it was not in my control that I had been diagnosed with cancer and I was not responding well to the treatment, but she was getting frustrated and did the cowardly thing and decided to just take off without even discussing it with me. She said that she owed me some closure and honesty more than anything, and she wanted to get back together with me because in the past 4 years, all she had done was miss me terribly. She said that she was ready to give our marriage a second chance, and if things go back to how they were, even if that meant that she was going to have to take care of me for the rest of her life. She said that she was ready to do it all, and I decided to ask her to visit me, but not for the reasons that she believed. And here is where I might have been the a-hole because my intentions were very obvious. I was trying to hurt her. I hadn't posted about my diagnosis or my recovery anywhere. Only my family and close friends knew that I was fine right now. So she had obviously still assumed I was struggling with cancer. And after taking some time off for 4 years, she decided to finally come back to me. It was so insulting that she had believed that I was going to take her back after how she had treated me and pretended like I wasn't even a part of her life for the past 4 years. I was furious when I had read that message because it was clear that he actually genuinely believed that I was just going to take her back. No questions asked. She hadn't even bothered to explain to me what she had been doing for the past 4 years. That's how confident he seemed. I was very upset about it, so I decided that I was going to teach her a lesson. So I invited her home just so that I could show her how my new life was. She had no idea that I was staying with Anna because I've never been one to go public with my relationship. I only even posted about Jenny online when I got married. So right now, very few people know about my relationship with Anna and, obviously, none of these people have been in touch with Jenny. That's why a couple of days ago when Jenny showed up at my house with flowers and chocolates, the first thing that I did after opening the door to her was call Anna to the door and tell Jenny that while I really appreciated her apology, the flowers and the chocolates, I had moved on with my life and I did not want her back. She immediately started losing it because, obviously, Anna was the one person she was extremely insecure about and had always been. She started freaking out at me, telling me that I had betrayed her and stuff and even accused me of cheating on her. I don't understand how it counts as cheating if I hadn't even been with her at the time that I started dating Anna again. But anyway, I didn't care about her reaction because all I had wanted to do was give her a shock, and I had succeeded in doing that. So while she was having a mental breakdown on my porch, I decided to shut the door on Anna and I went back to watching TV. For the record, I hadn't told Anna about it, but she didn't really have a problem with what I had done. However, my parents and my friends thought that there was no reason for me to do this. I could have just let it go because this was me just inviting toxicity into my life again. And if I'm being honest, I don't exactly think that they were wrong because after she left that day, my in-laws haven't stopped trying to contact me because they think that I have been completely heartless. They said that if I had moved on already, then I shouldn't have agreed to invite their daughter over to my house and give her false hopes because she had actually been feeling sorry about everything that she had done and wanted to fix things with me, which is why she had taken the effort to reach out to me and come to visit me. They are accusing me of trying to ruin her mental health on purpose, and they even have the audacity to suspect me of having had an affair with Anna all along even though they know for a fact that for the past 4 years, I had nothing on my mind apart from getting better. And before we got married, I had blocked Anna out of my life altogether just for Jenny, so I don't understand how they have the audacity to accuse me of having had an affair with her. Anyway, they are trying to make me out to be the villain and are acting as if their daughter was completely innocent in this whole situation. And like I said, my parents and friends are already against this. They have told me that what I did was very unnecessary. They can understand that I felt the need to get back at her, but at the end of the day, it doesn't change the fact that it was kind of petty. They're not exactly making a big deal out of it, but they have spoken their mind and I feel kinda guilty about what I did. I could have avoided all the drama if I had just not responded to her at all. And I knew that I had been petty, but now I feel bad. However, I still don't think that I need to apologize to her or whatever because I don't think that it's such a big deal. I definitely do not think that it's a big a deal as her parents are making it out to be, especially considering the fact that she had literally left me while I was fighting for my life and had gone missing in action for the next 4 years, not even showing up for our divorce. Her parents also hadn't tried to be apologetic for it, so I don't understand why I'm expected to be forgiving and just let everything go, especially when my in-laws know how their daughter had treated me back then. Anyway, AITA for inviting my ex-wife home just so that I can show off my new life. Update 1. Hi. So thank you so much for all the comments on my post. It was all really helpful. First things first, I did speak to my parents and my friends about why I did what I did. I don't deny the fact that I was petty, and I definitely don't deny the fact that it was completely unnecessary. I could have totally avoided all the drama by just not responding to her. But I felt like I needed to get some closure. I didn't think things through. I made the decision in the heat of the moment, so it was probably not the best way to deal with it. But I don't have any regrets about it either. They didn't have much to say. We just decided not to talk about it because it really wasn't worth it, and it wasn't exactly as bad as you guys think. I guess I might not have been able to communicate properly in the post or something. But just to be clear, my parents and my friends were not insisting that I apologize to my ex or whatever. They had just told me that they didn't exactly agree with what I had done, and they had left it at that. They hadn't tried to guilt trip me like my in-laws were doing. And now that we have spoken about it, we have decided that we are just going to agree to disagree. It's really not a big deal for them and nothing in our relationship has changed. So we are fine. The only problem that I'm dealing with right now are my in-laws because they are very upset with what I did. They think that I have emotionally tortured their daughter by inviting her over and they think that I owe her a huge apology. I'm not even joking. They have sent me several emails telling me that I need to apologize to her in person and that I need to clarify that I didn't have anything to do with Anna while we were together because, apparently, she has completely broken down. I don't understand why my in-laws expect so much of me, especially since we haven't had much of a relationship ever since the divorce. They knew that what their daughter was talking to me about was incredibly wrong, and yet they had been on her side and had helped her hide from me during the divorce. I'm not completely blaming them, but they were a huge part of the reason why I was never able to get any sort of emotional closure from Jenny while we were separating. So how come it was back then, but now, since it's Jenny's mental health at risk, all of a sudden, I need to talk to her and give her an explanation for everything. She didn't think that she owed it to me back then, neither did her parents. So I'm just playing by the same rule book now. Update 2. So it's been 3 days since my last update, and I have been having no problems. But, of course, that probably did not sit well with Jenny and her parents. Anna and I work from home, but I guess they didn't know that. They probably assumed that Anna wouldn't be at home if they showed up in the morning. Jenny and her parents visited me in the morning today, and when I opened the door, they started demanding that I speak to Jenny and give her an explanation for everything that is going on because she's been very confused, and they can't allow their daughter to go through this. I literally just rolled my eyes at them and I told them that I was not entertaining any of this BS. I did not owe them anything because Jenny didn't bother to give me an explanation when she left. And now she could think whatever she wanted. I was not going to give her the satisfaction of getting an explanation or a reaction out of me. The only reason I had even opened the door was so that I could say this to their faces. And then I told them that if they did not clear out, I would call the cops. Then Jenny started screaming at me, saying I came back for you, and you did this to me, after everything I have done, how could you, I came back for you, telling me that I was a horrible human being for what I had done. She called me petty and selfish and then she started cursing at me. When she started screaming, Anna had heard that and she came to my side. She looked furious and I could tell that it was taking her all she had to keep herself from having a go at Jenny and I really didn't want to do that. So I took my phone out and I told Jenny and her parents that they had to leave or I really would call the cops. After bickering with me for a couple of seconds, they finally left because I had started dialing even though they did not let go of the opportunity to curse at me some more. That did not affect me though even though it really made Anna mad and she cursed right back at them. But finally, they left. And luckily, Anna told me that she had started recording everything on her phone. So even though there is hardly any video of any of this happening, she has a full audio recording of Jenny yelling at me, and she didn't stop recording until they had left. Now that we have this, we know for a fact that the next time they show up, we will not only be pressing charges against them, but we will also be contacting our lawyers to file a restraining order against Jenny and her family. But I really hope that we don't have to go through all of that and that they leave me alone after this because I think I've said whatever I had to. Update 3. Hey. So it's been a couple of days since Jenny and her parents showed up at my house. After that, they did not try to contact me anymore, and I was really relieved. I did speak to a couple of my friends about what had happened, and they told me that what I had done was kind of petty and unnecessary. The way they were reacting right now was unhinged, and they thought it would be wise for me to speak to a lawyer just in case. But I don't think I'm going to need to do that because last night, I received an email from Jenny, and she told me that she's moving to Europe with her parents and she's never going to bother me again. Apparently, after she left me, she moved to California for her new job. She had applied to it while she was still with me, but she couldn't bring herself to talk to me about it because she knew that it was impossible for me to relocate at a time like that, and neither did she want me to even consider it. But she would feel like a horrible human being for leaving me while I was struggling to live. So she admitted to being a coward and said that she left so that she could avoid any sort of confrontation. And even though she had had a couple of flings in the past 4 years, she could never get serious with anybody because she always regretted whatever had gone wrong with me. Recently, she had applied for a position in Europe and she had been back here for a couple of months so she could convince her parents to move with her and have a fresh start. That's why she had reached out to me as well because now that she was back in town, she had at least wanted to apologize to me and give our relationship another shot. But after seeing me with Anna the other day, she realized that she had no right to intrude in our lives, especially not after everything that she had put me through. And she definitely did not have the right to question me either, nor her parents. So now she was doing the decent thing and leaving me alone. She said that she did not expect to be forgiven because all of this was coming too late and it was just too little. But she wanted to apologize for everything that she had done because she had been a coward. And even she had no right to be throwing tantrums and sending her parents after me the way she did. She knew that Anna loved me and I was happy with her. So she's going to stay away from me now, and I have to say I'm really glad that she came to this conclusion. I did not reply to that email, but I did make Anna read it. And my friends and parents read it as well. They think that this is good enough to put an end to whatever had been going on, and I agree. So now we can all finally, collectively move on from this. This is good because in a couple of months, I think I would like to get married to Anna and start a new chapter in my life with her. I guess I finally got the closure that I needed, and I'm finally ready to get married again, to start a family and just live my life to the fullest once more.